Hey plant pals, Mike the Kitty Gardener, and today's video is my update on what I'm growing inside, and at the end of the video I'll show some of the things I've started outside because it's now that time of year. So I've been kind of slacking on getting some of these things set up because I've been sidetracked by a lot of other projects that I had to do. Gardening is fun, but it doesn't take precedence when I'm having to do the honeydew chore list. So that had to be done first, but now I can get back to playing around with my plants, inside and outside. So it's pretty cool. This is the murasaki pepper. I got one to germinate, and the other ones are not really doing much. It's let's see, 420, like 10 days or so since I planted this thing, and it can take up to 21 days for peppers to germinate. Sometimes you get one that decides to pop up right away. There's 2 seeds per pod, and so for now, the germination rate is only 1 for 8, which I can see why a friend of mine who gave me the seeds said she had a hard time germinating them. And I could have tried the paper towel method and things like that. I still might do it, but I'm gonna, like I said, I'll give them time because I've had it happen where I didn't see anything for nearly a month, and all of a sudden they just popped out. That's what happens with the fish peppers. Fish peppers didn't show up for well over 20 some days. So yeah, so there's the murasaki purple pepper. So at least I got one guy sticking up there, so that's cool. All right, be right back. One thing I did put together, managed to get done, was I put this desk together. Well, not desk, it's a tray. Not tray. It's like a cart, like a kitchen cart that I put together so that I can record my videos on. So step up from the cheap table that I was using before, and gives me lots of places to put things as I'm working on my videos. So I do want to get a piece of plexiglass to put on the top. I got to source that, but yeah, it's kind of cool. Be right back. All right, not too much is happening with the squash tower that I can tell. I'm not seeing any peppers or anything growing on these little guys down here. Dill, of course, is doing great. The balm is doing okay, and the basils are doing good. I was not getting. Oh, and of course, the one pepper on this pepper plant's doing fine, and the fish pepper in the back is just kind of growing taller, not really doing much. I might even go outside. We'll see. When it gets warmer, I'll just cut it back like as if I'm overwintering it, and then put it outside. An issue I am having with my squash, and I think I've figured out what the problem is. I'm getting lots of females, but they're turning yellow and they get squishy, which means they're no good. So these will never become squash like that. So now I've got more females to go, and it's like, again, if this was outside, I'd still be way early in the season because it's not that old a plant. But in my research, I think I'm low on calcium because I don't think I'm providing this thing with calcium, so I added calcium to this. So hopefully the next batch of girls, because I did put calcium at the start, hoping that would be enough to carry it through, but apparently not. So I think I'm low on calcium. So because I know I'm good on all this growth and stuff. I know I'm good on nitrogen and everything else. So I'm going to see if there's more girls showing up there, and I'm going to see if the calcium will carry them through. But again, it's like a dead leaf here I get rid of. But again, I'm not that fussed about it because this was all a fun experiment. Well, I didn't have anything else going on inside at the time when I was doing my reset, so I don't mind it. And so this can just basically sit here and do its thing pretty much all summer, and then I'll use this valuable real estate to grow cool things in the wintertime. And so we'll see how many squash I get inside here before I switch over to something else. It every day it seems I am getting these beautiful, like I already took the ones that were already bloomed and spent off this morning. But yeah, every day I'm getting these beautiful flowers that, well, they'll get to this size and then they'll get even bigger and then open up and bloom, and they're huge, beautiful squash flowers. So I'm enjoying that. So if nothing else, even if I just get the one squash or the squash isn't great or whatever, I don't care, because I'm enjoying having this beautiful plant that's providing me with gorgeous flowers, and it's fun. All right, you're back. Like I said, I didn't really have to pause. I just came right next door to it. This is the Golden Harvest tomato, and my wife reminded me that I had issues with this variety in the past, where it's one of those ones that took forever to take off, and I got some down here, tomatoes down here, but there's a lot of die off in the back, and what I remember is that I took a lot of cuttings off of it, and those cuttings are the ones that like really flourished and produced a ton of tomatoes, while the main mother plant didn't really do much until I cut her way back. I was going to almost get rid of her, and then all of a sudden she just took off and flourished and gave me tons of tomatoes. So I guess what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna get a bunch of cuttings, and then probably take some outside too, just to see what happens. Of course, get rid of all this dead stuff here. Haven't had a chance to yet. But yeah, the AeroGarden pepper next to it is still producing flowers. And I also added some calcium to this too, just in case, because I don't like growing peppers and tomatoes in the same pot, because they do compete. They're both members of the nightshade family, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal, but they do compete with each other for nutrients. So I typically like to grow just one variety of pepper. And then you can see here, like, all these flowers here are from the tomato. So the tomato decided to like die kind of like in the middle here and push itself off the back and try to take over the lighting from the pepper. So I'm going to have to deal with that. Next to it, of course, is the pumpkin spice jalapeno. We'll see what the flavor is like. It's not like if you recall the videos I had when I was growing the orange spice, I had like 25, 30 peppers growing on that thing. This one I've got maybe, and that was just 2 plants. This one I've got maybe 10 peppers on it out of 4 plants. So yeah, so I might do again, because I do enjoy my indoor peppers. I might trim it way back. So I'm gonna see, like, if all this new growth with the flowers starts kicking me off a bunch of peppers, well, I'm just gonna let it do its thing, while also growing outside. But I might, if it doesn't, I might trim it way back when these peppers here get ripe. Trim it way back as if I'm overwintering it, take it outside, and again, see if I can get a head start on the outside. Right back. Yeah, I think I'll start with my experimental shelf. Here I usually go the other way, but this is again, this is the fish pepper. I should have entered the weird container contest, because this is just a 5-pound protein jug rather. And this is growing the fish pepper, and there's a ton of flowers on that. It's actually, again, I might have to move this outside, which the cool thing about the Kratky method, there's no air tanks or stones or anything or bubblers, so I could move this outside and it would just do the same thing as doing inside, except for it to have the sun. Still haven't filled that thing yet, haven't decided what I want to do with it. There's my strawberry plant. As you can see, strawberry's plant is doing great. It was nothing but a stick when I stuck it in there. Now we got a bunch of leaves. Hopefully we'll get some flowers. There's the Fresno pepper plant. It's doing great, and it's 5-pound protein jug. This thing, again, I keep cutting off of and harvesting. This is the lemon balm. I'm probably going to move this outside into a container, but it loves being in this this vitamin bottle. It drinks up all the water, and I refill it. Probably that's the only problem. If you're growing something that can grow large like this in a small container, it's going to basically drink this nutrient every other day. You have to refill it, which is not too big of a deal for me, because I do pretty much keep track of what's going on with it sometimes, although chaos can ensue. I was going to put strawberries in here, but I put the strawberries outside, and I'll tag that on the, I'll put that in a video at the end. So I'm going to, pretty 99% sure I'm going to grow kohlrabi in this, just to see if I can. There is the Mighty Mini cherry tomato. See the beautiful flowers on it. And hopefully I'll get lots of little red cherry tomatoes. Excited about that. And here's another one. I might move this out of its vitamin bottle and put it into, I might move this down into that just to see what it does. There's some more Mighty Mini cherries. Going happily. Following the girl that got dropped last week. She was on the ground, got her. The mint in the back there. You can kind of see it's growing back and down and behind against the wall. If that makes it happy. There's a lemon balm, and these are just, I might put everything that's in here outside. It's a little two baby peppers that are just kind of, stalled out, not really much. They probably might thrive up in the soil, and two things at a time. They're just kind of doing their thing. Well, up here is my orange hat tomato plant. It has tons of ripe tomatoes, so I'm going to harvest these. This is the proper orange. Let me see if I can grab one here. Yeah, that one's not too orangey, but it's still probably. There you go. It's got kind of a translucent look to it, like a marble, glass marble. It's pretty cool, and it's a very, let me try it. Yep, it's a very tomatoey tomato. That's good. So yeah, I used to have one on the other side next to my sofa, and every once in a while I just return, pluck one off, and enjoy it. All right. So that will start at 2.6. It's now 5.3, something like that. 5.2, 5.3, something. All right. Be right back. You can see I got my my plant seed containers out because I'm looking to decide what I'm going to grow outside. And of course I'm going to grow herbs outside, so that's why I have the herb container. There's it's kind of a sky view of this. It's my lemon balm. Again, if you notice in the past, I'll have it cut way over here, and it just grows like crazy. So I might move some of these outside. I haven't decided yet. And of course in a container, because they'll do, if I put them in the yard, my whole yard would be lemon balm. Okay, if you've been watching my videos, and you've seen the in bloom with the basils, the 4 different types of basil, and I was touching them like this, and a week ago I was touching them like this. Whoa, here they are this week. Look at the size of this plant. This is the cinnamon. Again, I keep wearing spots on it because I rub it. It smells like the gum. But the bigger leaves do get more mild, more like just regular basil after a while, but that could be just because I rubbed all the oil off of it. But yeah, I'm very happy with this plant. And again, because it's such a big plant, and I always tell people, don't overcrowd your systems. At this stage, this looks beautiful. This is manageable right now. But pretty soon, this is going to overcrowd all these, like especially this guy back here. This guy back here is not going to get any light, and it's going to suffer. So what I'll do is I'll take that guy and probably a couple more out, and one of these big ones, and either I'll move it outside or I'll move it into a different container. There's my purple basil back there. And again, if you want to propagate a plant like this, all you have to do is you look from the top, you go down, you see any place that's branching. This is called a node. This is a node, but of course, it's very small because it's the top. But even if I like cut it right here, stuck it in this little, and then took some of these leaves off, stuck this in water, roots would grow out it, and I'd have a whole new plant. But what I like to do is go lower down, so I'd cut it here, which I might do, just to show it, because this plant is getting pretty tall. And I take these leaves off, eat them, enjoy them, and then I'll have this whole stem here sitting in water. It'll grow roots out the bottom, and I can start a whole new plant. Didn't cost me nothing. So I got, instead of having one plant, and then imagine this is just one stem. Well, if you look here, look at all these stems. These all could become new plants. And again, there's my herbs. I need to do another salad. It's coming to jungle again. But I'm not complaining because I love these herbs. And then the above it, I might as well show, this is the fish pepper. And you can really see, now that's getting older, the variegation on the leaves. It's a very pretty plant. But this thing is growing like crazy. If I really stand back, you can see it's pretty much to the ceiling. So yeah, this is like a 5-foot tall plant. But you can also see there's a lot of flowers on it. So why not? If I can get the peppers to grow on it, I can tie it up. I'm happy with it. All right. I'll just walk around here. Usually I pause it because I know people get sick. Like my wife, she's likes me to pause because she's watching me edit and walks around. I'm doing too much walking around. She gets like motion sick from it. And I do too when I watch people's videos that do a lot of walking around. So I try to show a bit, pause, move, instead of just kind of panning all over the place. But this is the Fresno chili pepper plant. There's 2 in here. And again, this is why I tell people, this is a 6-pod system. There are people who will buy a 12-pod system and fill every pod with this plant. And it would just choke it. It would choke itself out and die, and they'd be sad. Whereas I've got 2 in here, and I'm still fighting to keep it from touching light. I just trimmed this. See, nothing's really touching light right now except for that one pepper in the back. But I'll still eat that pepper. That pepper is going to grow up because it's so close to the light. It's going to be kind of white and weird looking, but it'll still taste fine. But the thing I'm really loving about this Fresno plant is, see, there's a pepper. Since I last showed you a week ago, these were just flowers. So there's a pepper here. These will probably become peppers. There's a pepper here. There's a pepper here. See, and these were not here when I last showed you a week ago. So that's how fast this plant will grow Fresnos in a week. And there's a ton of flowers back here that will become peppers. And let's see, let's look in there. Look at that. Look at all these peppers. That's that one. And then on this one, I showed you that one there, but there are, let's see if I can show them. There are more peppers growing back there. So, oh yeah, and then you can see the peppers back here. Look at them all. So, I really love growing Fresno chili peppers in this AeroGarden Harvest. It's not meant to grow peppers this size. This is supposed to be like a 4-foot tall pepper plant, 2 to 4 feet. But I've been taming it, unlike the one next to it, the fish pepper, which I should have been taming it, but I'm chaotic, so that's how it happens. All right, but anyway, yeah, really happy with this. I'm gonna try growing this outside too. So everything I'm growing inside as an experiment, I'm gonna try to grow outside if I can. Very short season. I only get like 3 months of good pepper growing if I'm lucky. So we'll see. 90 days is usually not enough to grow peppers. This is the lemon basil. I, again, literally cut this back before I went to bed, and it's back touching the light. Like I said, I keep filling bags and bags of, and then sometimes I get mad because I get tired of it, and I'll aggressively cut it. But these, within like 3 days, will be up like that. So here is my lipstick pepper. I'll show that a few times. Dead leaf. And always clean off your dead leaves and stuff because you don't want to attract any bugs, because they'll, as Tinox says, they'll sense that death, even if it's just a leaf. But they'll come in. You don't want that. So here's my beautiful lipstick pepper plant. The beautiful peppers. Again, so I'm gonna get a distance view. So look at this. Here's my hand. This is the size of this pepper. It's huge. Love it. There's a ton of them. So I'm just waiting for them to turn ripe. But while I'm waiting, you can see. Let's see if I can show you back there. All those will become peppers too. There's a new pepper. This pepper arrived since the last time I showed, so that's pretty cool. Oh, let's see one back there. That's awesome. All right, be right back. This is my Zimhu unit with the sweet chocolate bell peppers. Now, the interesting thing to me about showing these weekly updates is things that I discover are that, yes, this one is growing regular, beautiful peppers. They're going to turn that sweet chocolate bell pepper color. There's a bunch of them in there. Let's see, there's one back there. They're all over the place, which is awesome. There's a big one down there. That's great. I'm very happy with that. But what's cool to me and to other plant loving people is that this plant, when I grew the mutant pepper, it wasn't a fluke, because every pepper on this one is a mutant. Which to me, to a commercial grower, that would be horrible because you don't have the exact perfect bell pepper shape. This has, instead of like the 4-chambered pepper, like that one, this has 8 chambers, which to me is awesome. And it tastes good, tastes the same, but having a mutant is pretty cool. So yeah, that excites me. Every one of these peppers has like multiple chambers. That's awesome. And the colors are different from the start, get-go. So you see how small that one is, and it's got that purple hue to it. That's not from the light, that's actually the pepper. Whereas these have the beautiful green hue, and then they'll darken and turn brown. This one will turn brown too, but yeah, that's really awesome. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of stand here and do my voiceover and put the insert the video inside because it was too noisy outside for me to talk while I was recording. So I'm gonna have to do some fancy editing here and remember what I filmed, but whatever. All right, so outside, I have 5 raised beds that I need to take outside that I haven't taken outside yet and get going. But the everything I'm showing was from last summer's. You can go back and watch those videos from last summer of what I grew. These pots are all, these grow bags rather, and the 2 beds and the Keter raised bed and the 3 other containers are all waiting to be planted. Now what I did do is I put garlic in October I put garlic in everything, but for some reason only the garlic that was in the in-ground raised beds has bloomed. Well, not bloomed, but pretty showed up. The other ones still might. I'm not giving up on them yet, but I do have more garlic and stuff I'm put down in the ground and in every bag because I want to use it for pest deterrence. Plus, I can eat the greens. So even if I don't get garlic bulbs this year, I might be able to overwinter it again, like I did with the other bulbs I put in October, and maybe get garlic next spring. So that's pretty cool. In the Keter bed, I planted the strawberries. That's why I said I didn't put the strawberries. I have one strawberry plant growing inside, and I put the other, it was a 9 pack of the strawberry plants. So I've got one inside, or 10 pack, sorry. So I've got 9 outside, 1 inside. And so, yeah. So I'm going to try the Three Sisters method in the raised bed closest to the garage. I'm going to plant corn and squash and beans. And I'm going to just let them go and see if they support each other. I will put some fencing going across the very center of it, and then put the corn on either side of the fence, and so the squash will have something to climb along with, and the squash will be able to vine, and the beans will be able to climb, and they don't have to totally rely on the corn, and then the corn will also be supported so it doesn't get blown over or knocked over by like a cat or a squirrel or whatever by the fencing that's in the middle. All right, so I've got a ton to do outside. Like I said, I've got 5 more raised beds to put out, fill with soil, and get planting. I've got 10 more, like 25-gallon grow bags that I'm going to put out, fill, and plant in if I get the energy to do so. We'll see. Yeah, I'm very excited. I still am technically not supposed to plant outside until the end of May, like the 25th or so. And then, even then, we've had like surprise frost or whatever, but it's been in the 70s this week, and the 10-day forecast has been pretty much 70s in the day and 50s at night, which is perfect for starting things, especially things like squashes and the cool weather stuff. And I'm going to start some cabbages and all that kind of good stuff. All right. So, any comments, questions, leave it in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Have an awesome day.